Hello and welcome. I'm Karthik.
And I'm Zach.
And today's topics, Final Four. Then we got UT basketball, Masters, ETSU basketball. Get ready. This is In a Pickle. Hello, it's In a Pickle. And it's the Final Four. We're finally there at that time of NCAA basketball. So let me give you an interesting fact. Between the four coaches that are going to be in this Final Four, 26 Final Four appearances, 6 national titles, and a combined 2,489 career Division I wins, and not to mention the national championship game, could be a rematch of the Big Ten title game if both Wisconsin and Michigan State were to win. So let's go ahead and start talking about the games here. Kentucky versus Wisconsin, Zach.
It's going to be a great game. I think we're going to see another game just like the Notre Dame and Kentucky game that you all just saw this weekend. Notre Dame lost it right at the end, threw up a Hail Mary shot, missed it, lost by 2. But I think that this game is going to look very similar to that. Wisconsin's going to spread the floor, drive in just like Notre Dame did that worked all game. But 2 great players for Wisconsin to watch out for, Sam Decker and Frank Kaminsky. Frank Kaminsky's a big guy that can also shoot the 3, very versatile. I look for this to be a great game, but I think Kentucky's going to kind of pull it out towards the end.
You're going to take Kentucky. You know what? Actually, I want to rewind a little bit. Imagine how great of a shot that would have been if Jerry and Grant hit that in the corner. Might
have been better than the Leitner.
I legitimately thought it would have been one of the best shots in NCAA history, without a doubt. To be undefeated Kentucky in that sort of fashion for a Notre Dame team that was really undersized the whole entire game. They didn't have much on the inside at all, but Zach August played a heck of a game. Absolutely. There's 2 matchups that I really look forward to seeing in this one, and you got Kaminsky versus Willie Cauley-Stein, and then you got Karl-Anthony Towns versus Sam Decker. Now let me talk about Kaminsky versus Cauley-Stein first. I think this is a really intriguing matchup because Kaminsky, what he likes to do is he starts at the three-point line a lot, and he tries to pump fake, and then he tries to drive in, right? Well, Willie Cauley-Stein's really good at defending on the perimeter. I mean, as you saw when Jerry and Grant tried to pull up the top of the key one before he went to the corner for the desperate Hail Mary shot, Willie Cauley-Stein was able to stick with him the whole entire way, and then he blocked the shot. Willie Cauley-Stein, a very versatile defender who can get around the court and do a lot of things. So I think that's a really intriguing matchup, and who's going to win that battle. But the one that I really look forward to seeing is the Karl-Anthony Towns versus the Sam Decker one. Because Karl-Anthony Towns really had an amazing game. He was unstoppable in the post. And it was against Zach August. The difference is August is bigger in size, and he's taller than Sam Decker. So Sam Decker is going to have quite the battle down low to try and take out Karl-Anthony Towns, arguably the number 1 draft pick in this upcoming NBA draft. So it's going to be really tough for him. I think Sam Decker, it's really important that he keeps Karl-Anthony Towns in front of him. He's got to play tight defense. He can't let Towns be the difference maker in this game. I think it's good for Wisconsin because they have a little bit of size. They play better in the post, I think, than Notre Dame does. Notre Dame more of a jump shooting team for the most part about it. But at the end of the day, you know what? I think it might be foolish for me to pick against Kentucky, but I am going to pick against Kentucky, and I'm going to take Wisconsin in I guess you could consider it the upset. Kentucky the favorite to win this game, but I'm going to take Wisconsin. I think they're just really efficient on offense, and then they have the opportunity. If Notre Dame can do it, I think Wisconsin has bigger size and a lot more players that can be a little more efficient at times than Notre Dame. I think they can pull off the upset, and I think they will.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great game.
Yeah, I definitely think so. It's a pick'em game, but my heart's telling me Wisconsin, so I got to go with Wisconsin.
Follow your heart.
Next game, we got Duke versus Michigan State, Zach.
I think this is going to be another great game to tune into, but I think this is where Michigan State's run-ins. I know you can't pick against Tom Izzo. It's March. He has a great record, but I think Duke, even though they have a lack of depth and everybody's been waiting, when's that going to catch up for him? When's that going to catch up for him? It hasn't yet, and I don't think it does in this Final Four matchup. I think Justice Winslow has really just came on since this tournament has started and developed so well that he just gives them a complete other aspect to their team with Tysus Jones, Quinn Cook, Jahlil Okafor. I just don't know that Michigan State has the talent to handle all that Duke is going to throw at them.
I really like Justice Winslow. He's that 110% player. He always gives you effort on every single play. His NBA draft stock is going up
Yeah.
and away right now. He's playing absolutely great basketball. Now, if you remember, both these teams, their first game of the year was against each other, in which Duke was able to win that game by 10. Two players that really came up big for each team, both in the post, Brandon Dawson and Jahlil Okafor, both playing back and forth. I think they both shot 8 of 10 from the field. They both can be really efficient. The big thing to look out for both those players, though, is they both also tend to drift away sometimes in the big moments of the games. Then they'll come back and they'll find a way. I mean, we saw Dawson. He had a big second half against Louisville. He made some crucial plays, especially the tip-in that gave Michigan State the lead there late in the game. So I think Duke's going to win this game. Duke is my pick to win this game, but I think Michigan State has a really good chance. I mean, look who they've beaten recently. Virginia, a really great defensive team. Oklahoma, a really great defensive team. Louisville, a really great defensive team. 3 top great defensive teams. And Michigan State's starting to play really good basketball at the right time of year. I mean, this was a team that lost at home in overtime to Texas Southern earlier this year. What a job Tom Izzo's done to completely turn around the season. And people say you can't bet against Coach Izzo. Can you really bet against Coach K either? Like, this guy, he's a genius, right? I mean, he's a great basketball coach. So, I mean, I'm going to pick Duke in this game. I think they're just playing really good on both sides of the ball right now. I think one big matchup in which Michigan State can win this game, look for the bench. You said it yourself. Duke doesn't play with a lot of depth. And Michigan State's bench, I'm just going to go ahead and say it's flat out better than Duke's bench.
Absolutely.
And if this gets into a problem where maybe Jahlil Okafor gets in foul trouble, Justice Winslow gets in foul trouble, those guards normally don't get in foul trouble. And good for Duke because they don't give up a lot of fouls in the first place. But I think if foul trouble comes into it, or if the legs start getting tired for Duke now that they've reached the Final Four, we're getting into the later part of the season, watch out for Michigan State. They got some guys that can come off the bench that can really hurt you.
Absolutely.
But I got to take Duke in this one. So get ready for our next segment. We're going to talk UT basketball coach here in a minute. Big news this morning, folks. University of Tennessee hires Rick Barnes as the new head coach, Zach.
I love the hire. I think that this is the best person that they could have gotten into that program. They need stability there because he will be the third coach in 3 seasons there. They really need to get a run of just a consistent coach and getting players in there that he needs for his system. I think this is going to be a great hire. There's not a lot of talent on Tennessee's team right now, and you saw that this year. They played hard, but there just wasn't that over-the-top talent there, and that's what lost them down the stretch, and they had some injuries, so there was a lack of depth. But I think that Rick Barnes is going to be a great hire. He's going to put a lot of stability into this program. He's going to get them up there back to where they can be where Bruce Pearl was at year in and year out. And I'm really excited to see the future of Tennessee basketball with this.
And I think you should be. And I have a little qualm with the fans that are kind of, oh, this wasn't a very good hire. This guy is pretty much a definition of stability. In 20 seasons, 19 of those seasons, he went to the NCAA tournament. And I know he hasn't been out since 2008, but this is a proven coach. And I truly believe that he can get back out. I mean, he's shown it that he can recruit really good players. Yes, Texas wasn't that good this year, but they had loads of talent on that team. And I think that team can still develop into a pretty good team, even with young talent like Miles Turner. But this is the same guy that you look back, and he's gotten players like Kevin Durant. Yeah. Then you got T.J. Ford, who was a great player, injured toward his actual professional career, and that really hurt him. But he was drafted 8th overall by the Milwaukee Bucks. Then you have DJ Augustine, who's an NBA player now. He has proven himself he can get quality players to play there, and I really think this is the sustainability that the University of Tennessee needs. As you said, this is the third coach in 3 years. You need to actually get a coach that's going to be there for a long time, and I wrote this down earlier. 6 years at $2.25 million annually. That's literally what UT is saying here is we need to put money into our basketball program. We got a good coach. We're going to invest in this, and we're going to be really good here in a couple years. And I truly believe Rick Barnes can turn out. I mean, he's from around this area. He lived about in North Carolina, 200 miles away. He really wasn't far. He grew up in this sort of area. I really think that he can bring a culture to UT basketball, like you said, that Bruce Pearl had brought previously. And I really think it's a good hire for UT, and I don't think any UT fan should be disappointed about this. Because
absolutely not.
This guy has a heck of a winning record, and he's provided sustainability for programs over the years in every coaching stop that he's gone to.
Absolutely.
So next up on the show, we're going to talk the Masters. They're coming up April 9th to April 12th, so stick around for some golf talk. Hello and welcome back to In a Pickle. The Masters are starting up on April 9th, everybody. My personal favorite golf tournament. And this is the first time since 1966 that the golf tournament's going to host 100 golfers after Steve Stricker said that he was going to play in the tournament, returning from his short absence of play. Well, one familiar face is still missing in this tournament field so far. Zach, who is he?
Tiger Woods. It's a 50-50 right now. So we're hoping he'll play because for viewership and golf fans, you really want Tiger there. Just the face of the sport, really.
It really is. But reports say today that Tiger's plane has landed in Augusta, his private plane. It was spotted at the airport, so maybe likely that he will be playing in this tournament. He still has a little bit of time to decide. But the thing I have with Tiger is, even if he does play in this tournament, I mean, he hasn't played since February in the Farmers Insurance Tournament, where he basically got cut because he had to withdraw from the tournament, trying to get his game right now. And this is the first time since 1996 he's dropped out of the top 100. I think we're finally looking at the time where Tiger is out of his prime.
Absolutely.
And I think that is a huge problem for Tiger because the rest of the field has now caught up to him and are better than him. Tiger is now a human when it comes to golfing. And that's bad because you got guys like Rory McIlroy, Jordan Spieth starting to play well, Ricky Fowler, Bubba Watson. You got all these guys that are coming in and they're playing really good, young guys. And where's Tiger in the mix? You've lost him now because he's out of his prime. I've always said this before. Tiger Woods is to golf what Roger Federer is to tennis. Both arguably the best players to ever play in their respective sports. But now that they both are out of their primes, it's just too difficult for them to win a championship. Age is caught up to them. And that's just a problem for the sport. And it's really concerning because now where does golf go to? Because I know me and you were talking earlier. There was Arnold Palmer, who was really dominant golfer, and then there was those long stretch of golfers up to Tiger Woods, and Tiger Woods was really dominant as well. But now, if Tiger Woods, the face is gone, you have Rory McIlroy, who's current number one in golf, but he's not, in my opinion, he's a really good golfer, don't get me wrong,
Absolutely.
But he's not Tiger Woods, and he's not going to have the same career as Tiger Woods, which is going to bring this downturn, I think, a little for the sport, which is kind of a bummer because you like to see that one main guy that everyone's like, man, this is the guy to watch. And right now you could say it's Rory McIlroy, but what can you do? I think it's not really a shame that Tiger, I mean, what he did was definitely wrong, and after that his career just went into a downturn, but I really hope to see that the face of golf, maybe it's that Ricky Fowler, or maybe Rory McIlroy has a complete just goes off and plays really well. I mean, after there was that certain amount of time where Rory McIlroy was just winning tournament after tournament after tournament. He was starting to play really well after he had some of his relationship problems in his life. So maybe we get our new face for this golf tournament, but that's all I wanted to say about that. But I have some underdogs for this tournament. I have Angel Cabrera. Now, watch out for him. He won this tournament back in 2009, and I love watching Angel Cabrera play at the Masters tournament. From Argentina, he has his moments. He's finished in the top 10 a couple of times there at the Masters, so that's one of my underdogs. And then you got Jimmy Walker, who's really turned it on this golf season. In 2015, has entered 11 tournaments, and in those 11, he's finished in the top 10 5 times. So watch out for Jimmy Walker, and then you also got to watch out for guys like Jordan Spieth, and then Rory McIlroy, Ricky Fowler, Bubba Watson,
Phil
Mickelson. Those guys. Phil Mickelson, of course, you can't forget Lefty. Lefty is always a danger in the tournament. But that's all we wanted to talk about for golf. So next coming up, we're going to talk about ETSU's basketball to wrap it up. And welcome back to our last segment of In a Pickle. This last segment, we're going to talk about the slam dunk hire ETSU had by hiring Coach Steve Forbes from Wichita State, Zach.
I love this hire. I don't think ETSU could have done any better in the situation that they were in. They got rid of a long-tenured coach, and they brought in a guy who I think is going to bring a lot of excitement to this program. He coached under Bruce Pearl at Tennessee and under Greg Marshall at Wichita State. He's a great recruiter. He has experience in the tournament. Young, a lot of excitement about him. I really like this guy.
I like him too, and I really like the fact that he can sell the fact that under both Greg Marshall and Bruce Pearl, he made it to the Sweet 16, which a lot of coaches can't say, and then all the experience he got from two really great coaches, that's invaluable, and he can really sell that to recruits. I really think within the next couple of years, he can bring ETSU back to the national prominence it once was when they were making the NCAA tournament, and they used to make a little bit of noise back in the day too. So I really think this is a great hire for ETSU. I don't think it could have gone any better. I don't think ETSU could have hired any better of a coach than they did with Steve Forbes, who is really excited to be here at this university and coach this school. So that's all we have for this week's show of In a Pickle. So next week we'll talk about who's your national champion of the NCAA basketball tournament and more. So catch us next week.